Jesus not only had love for friends and family and those closest to him, but Jesus loved his foes, his enemies, those who hated him, he loved. He said this in Luke chapter 6, verse 32 to 35. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who are good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do that. And if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, expecting to be repaid in full. But love your enemies. Do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, because He is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. You see, the real test of whether Christ's love is in us is this: do we love our enemies as He loved His? Do you remember how He refused to retaliate against those who came for Him? Do you remember how He healed the ear of the soldier who had come to arrest Him? Do you remember how He asked God to forgive the very ones who drove nails into His hands and feet? Do you remember how He appeared to Paul, who was arresting and killing the early Christians, and offered him grace and mercy? In fact, I read about a lecturer who asks his students in secular universities what they know about Jesus. And the one thing that comes up most often is them saying, Jesus is the guy who said, love your enemies. That's the one teaching that sticks with people because it's so countercultural, so unlike the normal way we do things. In fact, there's a story about Peter Miller, a Baptist preacher in Pennsylvania, and there was a man living near his church who would just harass him and malign him every time he saw him. But at some point, this man became involved in treason and was arrested and sentenced to be hanged. And the preacher heard about this and started out on foot and walked the 70 miles to the next state to plead for the man's life. And George Washington heard his plea and said, your plea for your friend can't be granted, I'm sorry. And the preacher said, my friend, this is the worst enemy I have. And Washington said, what? You've walked 70 miles to save the life of an enemy? Well, that's different. I will grant the pardon. Jesus went further than 70 miles to love his enemies. He went all the way to his death on the cross. Friends, if you and I are to love like Jesus and to copy him and emulate him in our lives, let's love our enemies and pray for them. How the world would change if those who follow Jesus did this.